Good day, friends. Welcome back to IC38 exam refresher preparation modules. We are in chapter 13, which is part of the health insurance segment. So, we'll be seeing about health insurance underwriting in this chapter. Just a quick recall, very specific to health insurance segment. We have completed introduction to health insurance. 11th chapter was health insurance documentation, and health insurance products was the previous chapter. So currently we will get into understanding more about health insurance underwriting, and in health insurance underwriting you will understand how the policy is getting issued post an application is getting submitted to the underwriting team. So first and foremost, let's understand what is underwriting. Basic principle, process and methods of underwriting will be discussed in this chapter. In a quick nutshell, what is the definition of underwriting? It is nothing but collecting and analyzing information from a proposer, doing risk assessment, and then giving a price post risk assessment, telling what is the possible status of the application submitted. In a nutshell, application to a policy issuance is underwriting. What is the need for underwriting? First and foremost, we should know that the risk has to be assessed carefully and with the sufficient information the policy to be issued, and an underwriting becomes the backbone of an insurance company because selection of wrong lives will lead to too many claims leading to loss of the organization. So underwriting primary focus is risk assessment. Underwriting norms and guidelines are much tighter for health coverage than death coverage. There is a higher focus on health findings. The reason being the current health status of the policy holder or the applicant will decide whether he or she is eligible for a health policy. Here the primary importance is the health findings than the income. Right. So few factors which comes under underwriting guidelines are considered in underwriting before issuing a policy are age, gender, family history, habits, occupation, environment, build of the person who is applying, current health condition, and the past illness, if any. Right. So in a basic understanding, the purpose of underwriting would be to prevent anti-selection and to classify risk and ensure equity among all the risk accepted by the company. Right. So equity among risk means the concept of standard, preferred, substandard, declined risks will come into consideration. Right. So post underwriting we can decide on whether the application will go through as a standard life, or will there be any rate up, or is there any substandard life, or it is a declined or life. So all this was in fact discussed in detail in life insurance underwriting. If you would want to have a quick recall, have a check in chapter 8, which was life insurance underwriting in this IC38 modules. So underwriting ensures there is equity among the risks of life selected for issuance of policy. So as a process of underwriting, at primary level the agent is the underwriter, the sales force is the underwriter at the field level, and then the application moves to the underwriting department for further assessments. Role of an agent includes fraud monitoring. So while we are discussing health insurance underwriting, how this fraud monitoring comes in as part of role of agent is in a best position in the field who meets the proposer face to face, and he or she is the primary underwriter, and no information submitted should be false in the application. So it becomes more important for a agent or an advisor to ensure that in his role he is ensuring monitoring fraud and preventing them. So a quick understanding of IRDA regulations now. The insured is to be informed of all underwriting loading charged over and above the premium if there are any. For instance, if there is a life where because of build or because of the occupation there is an additional premium to be charged, they have to be kept informed. An insurer has prescribed standard forms to be filled by the policyholder or the insured, and then based on the information the policy goes to underwriting. So insurers come out with various mechanisms to reward policyholders for early entry, continued renewals, and favorable claims experience in the form of bonus and lower premium for an early entry. So there is a concept of portability of health insurance, which we all should know, right? In addition to a new business getting processed for a new customers who have their health insurance policy existing in any other company can move to a different company if they see that the choice, features, service of a new health insurance company are better. For instance, this can be termed as the right for the policy holder to transfer the policy benefits from one health insurance company to the another. So porting can be done only at the time of renewal, not during the middle of the year. So terms of the new policy includes the premium would be decided by the new health insurer who gives the feature of the plan based on which the customer takes the choice. So the request for porting should be given at least 30-45 days in advance to the new insurer so that the policy gets ported smoothly. Migration of health insurance. So IRDAI has consolidated guidelines on product filing in 2020 on migration of health insurance. The right to transfer from one health insurer to another was opened. Right, so the credit gained from the old insurer will be carried forward to the new product as well. So insurers shall not levy any new charges for the sake of migration alone. Right, so porting, migration is a new concept which is catching up in health insurance. So just moving forward, let's understand basic principles and tools for underwriting. So basic principles, any violation of the legal principle may result in the insurer deciding to avoid the liability with nothing but declining the claim. So on the tools used by the insurer to issue a policy, the proposal form, age proof, medical reports, and report of the salesperson. Right. In general, let's see the underwriting process. The common forms used for underwriting are medical, non-medical, it can be a numerical rating method, decisions, standard exclusions, or a zone-wise premium is also existing and followed by certain insurers. In this underwriting process, let's see one after the other. Medical is underwriting process where the policy is issued based on the medical reports collected from the policy holder. Right, so non-medical is a straight case. For instance, a young age person wanting to get a health insurance policy and no health hazards for him or no health conditions existing, then it will go in without any medical requirement. So that becomes a non-medical policy issuance based on the material facts submitted. Numerical rating method is an assessment done by the underwriter depending on the age, sex, occupation, and based on a specific pattern, right, the policy gets issued, and the rating method is called as a numerical rating process. Right, so decisions based for the application submitted can be the policy issued or accepted at a standard rate, policy accepted at an extra premium, postponing the cover, declining the cover, or a counter offer can be asked where there are certain restrictions implemented, or a permanent exclusions can also be given as an option. So it all depends on the underwriting decision. So there is an application coming in, underwriting as a process happens before a decision taken on the policy. So there are certain standard exclusions which are possible in certain applications. So these policy exclusions are part of the policy document and features of the policy. There are certain companies where zone-wise premium is followed. So there is a differential of premium. For example, somebody living in a Delhi and Mumbai will be part of a higher premium zone and compared to somebody living in rest of the country. Right, so that's some of the basic features of health insurance underwriting. And at a group level, health insurance is analyzed based on the type of the group, type of the industry they are working, size of the group, eligible persons given as part of the group, level of coverage required, difference in healthcare cost across various regions if the company is spread across multiple regions, preference for administrators if any, and past claim experience of the group. All this will be considered at an underwriting level before a group health insurance policy is issued. So underwriting other than employer-employee groups, it completely dependent on the character of the group composition. For instance, if there is a group of people who have come together for a specific reason, and if that is a legal viable reason for some specific association, they have to justify the reasons to get come in as a group and avail health insurance benefit at group level. So health insurance can also be offered to non-employer employee groups. Some examples: employer welfare association, holder of credit cards in specific company, customers of a particular business where insurance is offered as an add-on benefit, borrowers of a bank and professional association or societies. We can move into underwriting of travel insurance. Travel insurance is a very specific concept where the policy is issued for people who are traveling overseas. The underwriting would follow the pattern of health insurance in general for issuing these travel insurance policies. Few considerations will include a premium rate would depend upon age of the proposer, duration of the travel, the medical treatment in overseas, considering the cost over there. USA and Canada premium is the highest, and any pre-existing disease will be carefully considered before a travel insurance policy is issued at the proposal stage. So underwriting of a personal accident policy. So main factor considered is the occupation in personal accident policy, and to fix a rate, occupations are grouped into risk group 1, risk group 2 and risk group 3. Risk group 3 are people working in underground mines or engaged in activities like racing on wheels where the risk of the group is high. Risk group 2, builders, contractors, engineers engaged in superintending functions, all persons engaged in manual labor. Right, so risk group 1 will be accountants, doctors, lawyers, architects and persons engaged mostly in administrative functions. Right, so let's continue with underwriting of personal accident policy. Age limit considered is 18 to 70 and however for students minimum age is 5. Family package is also possible for personal accident policy, and there is a premium discount if it is a group of people coming into and asking for a PA policy. So we're just continuing further on group policy of personal accident. The employer-employee relationship should be proven before getting into somebody taking a personal accident policy as a group. Right, so and there can be various categories. It can be employer-employee, a registered cooperative society, registered service clubs, credit card holders, etc. Right, there is an on-duty cover given in PA policy. The premium is dependent on the sum assured and the number of hours of duty as well. And in some instances, policy can also be given with an exclusion of death cover and subject to individual company guidelines. Right. So friends, we saw about underwriting as a procedure, as a process in health insurance. And with that, we conclude chapter 13. I would suggest you have a quick check on the Q&A video of chapter 13 to understand the kind of questions asked in this chapter very specifically. And let's move on to learning in 14th chapter to conclude the entire IC 38 refresher preparation. Happy learning. Stay connected.